Well, hello all. Welcome to this very first workshop session of HackNITP 4.0. It's me, Shivam Jha, and today we are starting with our first workshop session on APIs 101, getting started with the API technology. And here today with me is there's a comment moderator, Rajit Suneja, and we both are anticipating to give you an interesting talk, right, to make this workshop session a meaningful one for the guys on the people present here waiting eagerly for us to start. So, okay, let's just quickly, I mean, see this, since this is a workshop which will go on, on a hands-on manner. So it would be better if any one of you from the audience may post a comment and let me know whether or not you're able to, I mean, is the streaming quality good and stuff like that? Am I audible? So in case you have any questions that may pop up while we are onto the session, so I may be able to see it in the comments. So please just comment and let me know. Let me know. Okay. Just a moment. Let's see. Okay. We're good to go. Yep. It's audible. Great, great, great. So let's start without wasting our time further. Let me quickly share my screen. Yep. It's there. Right. Now, let's start. Righto. So, Postman, along with HackSlash, brings you APIs 101 with Postman, learning API essentials. This session is going to be covering APIs, the API technology, the API first development paradigm from the basics, right? We'll be building from level up. And in this, all through this workshop, let's just be carefree that you're gonna learn things from the basic, you're gonna learn how to implement things, and yeah, you're gonna get a good glimpse of what APIs are and how powerful these modularity they bring into our code, right? Okay, going ahead. So who am I? Myself, Shivam Jha. I'm a Postman student leader at NIT Patna. So I'll be representing Postman, and I'll be happy to share my ways of explaining you guys the importance and the modularity, the power that API technology has brought about in this world. Moving ahead, what's the agenda for today, right? So our agenda would be introduction to APIs and the Postman workspace. Postman, again, all of us are known to this Postman workspace, a cool way of testing, right? Generating your API schemas, collections, running automated tests on your APIs, scripts, and in fact debugging your APIs. So this cool thing that we have got in Postman, and also we'll be looking into the introduction to APIs, right? Again, the second thing which we will cover will be request and responses, right? So what are requests? Requests are basically something which we ask an API to do, and response is something that API returns us, just the basic layman terms. Now the third thing will be practical hands-on, trying things out, and the fourth would be follow-up resources, and finally we'll have a session for Q&A. Okay. Again, a quick poll. Are you guys able to see my screen well? Is the screen responsive? I mean, yeah. Is it good? Are we good to go? Come on. Let's see. Yeah, we're good to go. Great, 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 guys, great. Now, so imagine API to be a digital restaurant. Okay. So what happens is when you go to a restaurant, you don't always directly go to the chef's kitchen and ask him, man, prepare me this thing. I'm feeling hungry today. What all ingredients you have in the kitchen? Let me find some good ingredients of my choice and build me something. So that's not the way, right? There's a protocol. There's a series of particular steps that you are following while even ordering your food. So what's the logical step involved there is, when you go to a restaurant, you first go to the waiter. The waiter provides you with the menu, right? You go through the menu, the whatever dish is suited to your liking. You order the waiter. The waiter further conveys your request to the chef here. The chef prepares the order, right, and waiter brings it back to you. So this is the protocol. You won't simply rush into the kitchen asking for, okay, waiter, okay, chef, please let me see your inventory, right? Let me see what all ingredients you got. I'll try and see what I wish to eat today, right? So there's a particular protocol involved in in fact, every aspect of your human life. Okay, so this same analogy is followed in APIs. So API is kind of middleman, right? API is kind of not. API is actually a middleman. I mean, many terms also refer to as API as middleware, right? So API is a middleman between client and a server. We have our client here. Okay, we have a client here. This is an API which carries the client's request to the server, and server some remote computer, right? And the server generates some response. It generates some computation, does some computation. Maybe it has some let's say some confidential data, right? The server has some confidential data, and a direct access to client would not be good for the company, right? It won't be good for the company if it basically overlays the data completely onto the front end user. So that's where API comes into play. API is follows a protocol and returns only the abstract piece of information that is required by the client. Just suppose that the client makes a request, right? Suppose I'm a client, I'll make a request to Google database, right? That give me my info of my profile. So suppose I have my email address xyz@gmail.com. So Google's this Google APIs will talk to the Google servers, like, right? Suppose I'm Shivam Jha, so they'll ask that, okay, return me Shivam's user info, right? Accounts info. So that server will particularly return my user info only back to me, and it's not like it will give me all the millions and trillions of users that are registered on the Google server. So that is abstraction. Okay. Now, what's an API? I guess after this much of a verbal definition, these quantitative definitions are very easy for you to understand. APIs, or application programming interfaces, allow services to communicate with each other. Software has become more complex and collaborative over the years. Developers no longer need to create every service from scratch. So what basically happens is API are you can visualize API as a building block of your code, right? Now suppose I have an API from a website which provides me weather data, right? And I have an API from some ML API, right? Machine learning API, suppose, which converts text to speech. So what can I do is I'll just assemble these two together, right? I'll assemble these two together, and very consequently enough, you guys are smart enough to figure out that what will happen. That weather map API, right? That weather API, it will return me how's the weather like today, and that weather data will be sent to the speech API. So basically, what it becomes? It becomes a weather reporter. Voila, you have a weather reporter in front of you. The weather returns text data. Text data is sent to the text to speech conversion, and it will read you the weather. That's it. So that's how you modularize your code, right? That's the way you put modularity, you put easiness in software engineering. So that's where API comes into use. Now, the third point, API allows developers to access data from a service like Google or Twitter without any knowledge of how the code base has been implemented. Again, this is an important thing. Yeah, this is something. There's something called business logic. So what business logic is? Business logic is basically the background, the underlying implementation of the data, or the features or the calculations that are done on the server side, right? Some calculations. Suppose there are some data. There is some let's say some hashing or some encryption that is being done by the server, and you don't want the client to have a visualization of what is done on the backstage. So that's where API comes into play. It provides sort of encapsulation. Again, these terms like encapsulation, abstraction are what object oriented paradigm. And in fact, object oriented methodology is derived from real world objects. So that's the reason why API has a very awesome analogy with real world examples of middlemen, right? Be it a waiter, or suppose be it a mechanic, be it a mechanic in the car garage. I mean, obviously, you won't go to a garage with your car and you just pick up the spanner and start doing the activities, right? Start making your engine, or no, you will just tell the mechanic what's the fault with your engine, and he'll do the only required stuff. Let's suppose if you are given a simple spanner, you'll open up your whole engine, and then you don't know how to assemble it back. So that won't be of any good use, right? Okay, moving further. APIs a bit technically. So there's something called hardware APIs. So hardware APIs are what? Hardware APIs are bits of code which interacts between the hardware of a system and a third party app. So let's suppose all of us are familiar with Instagram here. So Instagram, what it does is it makes a call to your hardware API, camera hardware, right? And camera hardware, it asks the camera hardware that, okay, I wanna click a picture, and will you allow me to if I click that picture, I have also an option to save my Instagram clicked picture. So this hardware, this Instagram will make a call to this camera of your smartphone using the hardware API, that, okay, I want the permission to click a selfie from Instagram camera, and then this camera of Instagram will give it the permission, give it the gives it the required hardware, and what the hardware is, obviously the camera of your phone, to Instagram to capture the picture from Instagram camera. And then that Instagram saves it to your local system, or maybe the Instagram servers via server APIs. Okay. And yeah, and then this servers then obviously propagates it to the whole of the world Instagram family, Instagram users, and you're famous. Now, there's an API for everything, literally everything. There's a cat API which tells you, the breeds of the cat just by looking at the picture. There's an open weather map, a very famous API for meteorological data. There are Discord APIs for, doing the Discord stuff. Like suppose you are building a Discord bot, you can use a Discord API for sending messages into a Discord server. So Discord API is literally available as libraries in like Python language. There's a Discord library. So what it does is it had these functions like channel.send message, channel.kick, channel.ban. So that just gives you what they, if suppose you execute channel.kick, so it would require network connectivity. That channel would make a request using that API, Discord API in your in your code. It will make a request to the Discord server, and then that Discord server will kick the XYZ user out of the system. Great. Now, uh, APIs turn software into Lego bricks. As I did say, you gave you an example. How can you make a instant weather reporter on your own? Just fix two APIs. The first being a weather data API, the second being a text to speech API. So that's what it's about. And also API, breaking your software stuff into APIs also also increases the readability of your code. So by what do I mean by readability? Readability basically means if you're a seasoned programmer, you'll have thousands of lines of code going on in your IDE. So that's where API comes handy. I mean, you can debug the code block by block. You know exactly that what API is failing based on the response codes that you are getting. So you can obviously debug it easily. That's another good use of API. Now, what is Postman? That's the big thing here in this workshop of ours, is how Postman makes API development and API interaction very much easier. So, Postman is a collaborative API development platform that simplifies creating, using, and testing APIs with a user interface, right? Now, 98% of the Fortune 500 organizations use Postman, and 65% of the Global 2000 organizations use Postman. That's a big name, obviously. Yeah. Now we have this APIs then versus now thing. This is something unique and interesting that I always find. I mean, obviously, I'm also a now kid. I am not a then kid, but yeah, this curl command, also known colloquially as curl command, is a command line tool which helps make an API call, right? So this suppose this figure to the left here you see is that command line call for making APIs, right? Suppose you have an API and you are using this curl command to make a request to this API, and you also have to provide your body in this curl request whichever you are making. So this is very much complicated if you see. And on the right side you have our good old Postman, and Postman simply you need to put in the URL here. Can you see my cursor, guys? Oh, I'm just sorry. Yeah, this cursor right here. Here you need to put the URL. We'll be seeing these things in the walkthrough, the hands-on session. So you need to just put in your URL here, and you need to change the type of request which you're making to this server. Now, the types of request, again, we'll be discussing that also in a great detail. And simply click on this send. And if in case you have some payload to go along with the request, the payloads, again, we'll discuss it. Nothing to be worried about. So you'll just simply put it in the body, and this is a cool UI that you're getting. And you can also see there are response codes and everything nice. Good. So, what are requests and responses? These are the very important things. I mean, these are the very basic things that you should know before you venture into your journey of APIs. Now, So here we have a diagram, a schematic proposal for request response pattern. So suppose there's a client. The client will make a request via network. Network is internet in layman terms. The client will make the request via network to a server. Server is a computer or database, a resource which is available somewhere else in the world. We don't know. I mean, thousands of miles other than your away from your client, the actual client. So it makes a request via the network, and the server sends back the response to the client. Now, for making request, how do we interact with the API? Now, requests are general are of many types, but the thing which we're gonna cover in this our lecture today, our session today, would be four types of request mainly: get, post, put, and delete. These four requests, right? So these four are the types of request actually. Get, post, put, and delete are the types of request, and to compose a whole request, you need three fundamental things. First one will be the method, right? What is the type of the request? Get, post, put, delete. These are the four that will be seen today. Second was the address or the endpoint URL. Okay, so which server will be handling these requests? The URL of that server, that is called endpoint URL. And third will be the path. Path would be which route of that server would handle which request. Again, for great detail of this routing and server scripting stuff, please, again, we have a workshop day after tomorrow also on 9th, the same timing, 7 to 8, and that will be API 103. That's a basically literally a bit advanced topic in the API paradigm, and that would be coding your APIs, right? So in that we'll cover these things, endpoints and path in great detail, right? Now, request methods and endpoints. So the bare minimum for a request is what you need: the request method and the URL, right? And not the path, just the URL. So suppose if I make a get request in this https google.com/search, so what if I and let's click on send? So what it would return me? It would return me the same thing that is returned when you type in your console, right? When you type in your browser, like google.com/search. So what it returns is it returns you the search engine of Google, the search page, the home page of Google. So this request that we're making here right on the screen, it will basically return you the HTML code. I mean, front end code, whatever front end code will be returned to the browser for rendering, that would be returned to you in this request. Okay. The first request, which the point to be noted here is the first request which we make to a browser when we visit, which we make to a server, a site, website, when we visit it, is always the get request. Okay. Now, let's break it apart. Method. The first part here, this get, it's a method. Now this method can be of four types: get, post, put, or patch, and delete. Get is used to retrieve information. Post is used to send information. Put and or patch, and or it's the same thing. So that is used for updating information. Okay, and delete is used for deleting the information, basic things. So that's basically, many people of you might have heard about CRUD operations, right? CRUD operations in the database. So that's basically the same thing. Create, read, update, and delete, CRUD operation. Okay, so create, analogous to post; read, analogous to get; update, analogous to put or patch; and delete obviously is delete. Okay, good. The second thing here is HTTP is google.com/search. Here, HTTP is the protocol, the scheme of the request, right? So what scheme is? Again, for internet, for communication over the internet, there is a defined schema. There is a defined protocol. So this HTTPS is that protocol which we are using for this request. Okay. Again, we have host. Host is the address of the server which will be serving our request. Third is the path. Path is a destination where request can be heard and executed. Now, specifying the detail. So some requests can have details in them, right? Details like parameters. Parameters are generally values. Suppose you want to get something particular, you want to know about something particular. So that's where parameters comes in, right? Parameters basically particularize your request. They make your request more particular and to the point. Okay. Second thing is authorization. Authorization is, let's suppose there are certain companies who don't let you use their servers for free. So they'll do is they'll implement authorization on the server. Authorization is like basically a firewall in front of a server, and it will check your incoming request to that server. And if you have an authorization token, there is generally an authorization token which the company gives you, right? So that authorization token you need to attach with your payload, and if that authorization token is matched, and then the firewall will allow you the access to contact with the server. The third thing is headers and body. Headers and body are basically data types. What types of data are we sending as payload? Payload is something on which operation is to be performed. Let's suppose I tell you that you need to post something, in your server, right? You need to post some data into a database. So obviously, if you need to post some data, just a post request is not sufficient. You need to give that detail of what you are posting, right? So that detail is called payload or body. Now, the request body. The request body is a data payload which we send it, right? Optional, but often it is supplied with post and put request, because posting and putting means to update, to add or append or update something in the database. So obviously you won't leave it empty, man. That's very logical. Now, the second things are data types. So data types are basically the types of the data which is being sent as payload, right? It can be form data, it can be JSON, text, simple plain text, HTML, XML, markup language, or files, or graph query language, and many more, right? There's one thing, URL encoded, so that format is also acceptable. So these are the things. Now, JSON is obviously something very much familiar to most of us right here, right? So JSON is basically it follows it follows something like a Python dictionary, or an object, if you may. So it has key and value pairs. Like for name, it will be John Doe, suppose, email john@email.com, and birth year would be 1970. So that's the thing here. And JSON can be nested also. I mean, you can have an object inside an object. JSON full form is JavaScript Object Notation. Good. Now, receiving responses. So response is the acknowledgement. Response is an acknowledgement slip which the server sends you back to let you know, right? To let you know that okay, your request was successful or not, or if successful, then what type of success are you getting? What operation was performed on your request? So there are some general response codes. So if the status codes are 200, that means okay. I mean that, yeah, request was okay. It's just basically it's generally given with the get request 200, okay. The second is 201 created. So request 201 means created, right? Similarly, there's request 204, it means updated, and 404 is very common, not found, bad request, right? Headers are sometimes the data sent to you has headers also. Headers are basically some metadata, right? There are some metadata about the body and accessing body data. Obviously, suppose I tell you that okay, I make a get request, right? I make a get request to google.com. So what the body which I will get back from google.com server will be the HTML code, right? The code that will be rendered on the otherwise rendered on the browser if I type google.com. Now the good part, let's follow along. I'll try and drop this link. Just a moment, okay. I'll copy this link, right? And what I'll do is I'll paste it here in the post. Okay. Okay, it's not allowing me. Okay. Rachit, are you there? Rachit?
Yeah, sure. What happened?
Okay, Rachit. Yeah, Rachit, in the chat here, private chat, I'm dropping this URL link. Please go and drop
Okay.
this URL link in the YouTube comments from the YouTube channel. Okay.
Okay, okay.
Okay, so that other guys, people can follow with our hands-on thing. Okay, so Rachit here, he'll be dropping this link which I shared with him right now. So this is the link of our workspace, of our Postman workspace, on which we'll be doing our stuff today, right? Which we'll be using for the hands-on thing, and Rachit will be dropping this in the chat section. Okay, so that all of you can at once open it, and if you wish to, you can follow along with me. Okay, right. Back to the main thing. Now, yeah, in case you are not signed up as now as yet on Postman, you can go visit this website, visit this one, identity.getpostman.com/sign slash sign up, and please sign up because you need to be signed up to have your own workspace and to follow along with us. Okay, let me quickly go to this.
Yeah, sure, I'm done.
Okay, someone is asking, it's getting a bit complex, so I should probably relate it with some mobile app or functions. Yeah, I mean, I just related it with that mobile application, right? This slide right here, which we have, this slide of Instagram. So Instagram uses your hardware API. There is something called hardware API, which connects third-party applications which you have in your in your phone. Like suppose Instagram. So it connects your Instagram to your phone's camera. So suppose you open Instagram to capture an image from Instagram, right? From Instagram camera, you have all whole lots of filters and stuff out there. So what it does is Instagram calls your hardware API to give access to the camera, phone's camera, so that it can capture the image. So that is another use of API. Instagram can't directly access your phone's camera or your phone's hardware. It has to depend upon hardware APIs. I hope it's clear. If clear, then please respond in the chat section. Okay, did you drop that, Rachit?
Yes, Shivam, I did.
Okay, I mean, it's not visible to me. It's okay. It'll be visible to them. Now, this workspace which you have here is Postman Student API 101 workshop. Go to this one, Basics of API. There are some others which you can as well. Obviously, I encourage you to try them, right? To give them a try. But the thing which we'll be doing here today is the basics of API. Okay, so go click on this one, Basics of API, and then you see this fork thing here. Let me zoom in my screen. Yeah, this one, this fork button. Okay, click basics of API first and then click on this fork button. Okay, so we'll click on fork, we'll create a fork, and fork label would be, okay, first I'll create a workspace. Let's see, my workspace or my workspace too. My workspace seems good. Fork label, what fork, let's say fork 101. Okay, and then fork it. It's creating a fork. Just a minute. So yeah, the necessity why we need to fork it is because if you make changes there itself, so it is something which everyone, every student there uses, whole all throughout the world uses that workspace for learning Postman. So it's not encouraged. I mean, it's not permitted to directly make changes there, right? Because if you make changes there and if something goes wrong, then it will be reflected all throughout. I mean, every Postman user can see that change and reflected. So you basically need to fork your own local collection in your own workspace to make the changes, right? So we have the basics of API here now, forked one, right? Click on this down arrow and let's see. First of all, in this basics of API, when you will click it, in this pane here, right, you have a documentation panel here. So you will see the documentation stuff. I mean, what all can we do with this workspace, with this URL?
Shivam,
So we have,
sorry to
yeah,
interrupt you.
yeah.
Actually, I have posted the link, but I think the students have didn't get it right.
You did post it.
Yes, I have posted it twice.
Okay, okay, just a minute. Actually, send it to me. PM it to me on WhatsApp, and I'll post
Okay,
it.
okay,
Yeah, for mine.
okay, okay. Just okay.
Okay. Yeah, yeah, sure, sure. I'll will be sending it. I mean, there might be some discrepancies. Sending you just in a moment. Okay. Meanwhile, okay, okay. Let me send it first.
Yeah, I have sent you.
Okay. Have you got it now, people? I just sent it in the chat. Is it okay? Shall we continue further? Yeah, I did send it. No, still not sent. Why not sent? I also did send it, but people aren't able to get it. What's the reason? Okay, just let's do one thing. Even it's not getting sent with mine. Okay, let's see. Let's see. StreamYard won't allow me to directly put it there. Okay, it's okay. Rachit, meanwhile, figure some way to, yeah, send in the HackSlash script. I said
Yeah, yeah.
now,
I'm trying. I'm trying.
now it should be visible. Okay, message from only subscribers appear in the chat box. Well, I did subscribe it. I have subscribed it. I have subscribed it actually. Okay, yeah, do one thing, Achit. Do one thing. Please send it in the HackSlash groups. Okay.
Okay, okay, copy.
Okay. Yeah, just a moment. Okay, so yeah, it will be available to you in just a while. Don't be worried about that. Now, moving ahead, once you fork this collection, you have three endpoints, right? Quote, joke, and book. Okay, so you have three endpoints for this server of Postman, which we'll be using for getting started on this request and response thing. So this is the endpoint URL. So what we told about endpoint URL? Endpoint URL is the server which will communicate with your API. So this is an endpoint URL. Okay, I'll at once copy this link address first because that's important. I'll show you what's important. Now, the path which we have here, three path quote for working on quotes API, and this the joke API which Postman people have made, right? And this is a book API. So for this session, we'll be going on with the with the jokes API. Now, right, all these APIs can handle the four request: get, post, put, and delete. Okay. Uh, yeah. So let's at once get to it. For the base URL, we need to copy this link address. Again, make sure you fork this basics of API first, right? Fork this in your workspace. Give it any name. Like I have given fork 101, you can give it any name. Fork it, and then in the documentation panel here, right? Documentation panel, you can see this endpoint URL here. Copy this endpoint URL. Yeah, copy this endpoint URL and we'll be going with the jokes path, right? Slash joke. Now, the second thing, go to this get data, right? Get data. This get data is a request which will be sending. Suppose I'll paste my endpoint URL here. Okay. This is my endpoint URL and the path which I'll be using is joke. So our path for today will be the jokes API. Okay. Now, if I click on send, let's see. Okay, so this is what I got. If I clicked on send, it gives me the result of the jokes, right? The joke that was added. So this is a joke ID 7 added by Ishita, and it says Java is the easiest language to start with. So this, yeah, right? This is the jokes API. Now the second thing again, what this get request did? This get request basically got me a joke from the jokes API. Okay, so this got me a particular joke from the jokes API. This get request. Now, secondly, we have, yeah, by default we have four jokes ID 0 to 3. To get a random joke, you just need to give the base URL slash joke and make a get request there. It will give you a random joke. Now, suppose I need to get a specific joke. Okay, what if I need to get a specific joke? Let me see. What I'll do is I'll go again to this one and I'll post the joke ID here. As you can see in the documentation here, what is asks is it asks slash joke slash ID of joke. Okay, so this is called path parameter. This is something called path parameter, a variable which is specified in the path of the endpoint URL. Okay, in the path of a request, that is called path parameter. So I'll give this path parameter value. So these are the four default jokes that we have 0 to 3. Now I'll go get back here and suppose slash joke slash 1 if I give and click on send. Okay, so this time we have joke ID 1 and author is not available. I don't know. And joke is what is hardware? Hardware is a part of computer which you can kick, and the source of this joke is this one. So this you're getting the conclusion, right? You're getting the intuition. I mean, see, if I change the joke ID to, let's suppose, 2, and now I make the send request, it gives me another joke with joke ID 2. Who is a programmer? A programmer is a machine who turns coffee into code. Okay, so this is the get request that we are making. Get request, what it does is wherever that jokes API is hosted in the Postman servers, you are making basically a request to get a joke. And by specifying this slash after joke, you are specifying this number 0 or 1, or let's say 2, or let's say 3. So these specific values ask the server to give a specific joke which matches this ID, right? Which matches the joke ID. So if I say 3 now, and it should work. Okay, it's working. First rule of programming: if it works, don't touch it. Great. Now, moving to our second request. What's the second request that we have? Let's see. Yeah, the second request that we have is post request. Okay. So what did we talk about post request? Post request is basically used for posting, adding something to your database. Okay. So for posting a new request, what they have asked is just give the base URL. This is the base URL again, right? Yeah, this one is the base URL. Just give a base URL and slash joke, right? And you, because see, now you need to add some joke, right? You need to put some joke in the database. So you also need to give a body to this request. Body means something, whatever that you are willing to add to the database, that is called the body. Now for body, what I'll do is I'll go to the body tab and select JSON. Okay. So suppose I am copying this as the body. I'll go again to my request. So what is the request that we're making now? It's post. I'll go to post. Okay. And as they asked, just base URL plus path, joke path. Now I'll go to body. Okay. The body right here, this body. This is a response thing. This section is for the responses that we're receiving. This is the request thing. So I'll go to request body and go to, let's say, form data. Okay. No, raw. Yeah. Go to raw and change it from text to JSON. Okay. Again, if you, in case you didn't follow me, first change the request from get to post. Secondly, change the path to just base URL plus joke. This is the path, right? And go to body for inserting whatever thing you need to post in your database, right? Go to raw type of data, and from this drop down select JSON, JavaScript object notation, right? And suppose I copied Ali's code, I pasted it here, right? Ali's joke, and I'll change this author name from Ali to, let's say, Shivam, and I'll give it an ID. So let's say what all IDs are we having? We are having joke from ID 1 to 4, and what's this? Joke ID. Let's see. Let's see. Joke ID 7 was there. So let's say that joke ID 5 doesn't exist. Okay, so 7 was there, right? 7 was there. What was 7? Yeah, this was Ishita's joke number 7. So this probably has an ID of less than 7. What we'll do is, we guys, all of you guys, and me, will start giving the ID starting from 7. Okay, so that we don't clash anywhere. Suppose I change my joke ID to 8. Okay, author name is Shivam, and I change my jokes to bugs are not features. Okay, and source being NA. I mean, it's something that randomly came out of my mind. And if I click on send, okay, so what it returns me, the response code is 201 created, as we did here it in our presentation. That 201 request me response code means that okay, your data has been successfully updated in your database. And there's a response time. Again, this was the, okay, I got. Now how will I visualize, right? How will I visualize that what joke have I got back? So this section right here, this is an awesome thing which Postman has. Again, this is for visualizing the joke, the front end for the jokes that you have. If I click on refresh, yep, see, this is my joke here. Shivam has posted bugs are not features. Cool. So now, if you guys wish to, we can wait for 5 minutes and let's see if you guys are able to make a similar post request. And what I'll do is after 5 minutes, or let's say 2-3 minutes, I'll refresh this, and then your joke should appear here. Okay. If in case you guys are following, let me know quickly in the comment section. Let me know quickly in the comment section. If you're following, then I'll wait and yeah, wait for you to make your joke appear here. Anyone up? Come on, we're hitting it off. It's quite an interesting session to interact with such a such a prompt audience, and such great interaction it is. Okay, done. Anshu has done it. Let's see. Let's see. Okay, Anshu, I guess your joke was not posted right. Okay, yeah, Anshu has posted it. Bugs are features. Yeah, I'm sorry, Anshu. Yeah, we have Anshu's joke here. Bugs are features. Well done, well done. Good thing. Okay, now, anyone else? Okay, I'm waiting for 1 minute more, right? I'm waiting for just 1 minute more. Let's see. Come on. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Yep. Do we have someone else? Not. Okay. Now, moving ahead, after the post request, the third thing which we have in our cookbook for today is, go to the documentation here. Okay. The third thing which we have today is put request. So put basically means updating an existing joke, right? And how it works is, put generally updates the entire object. There's a difference between put and patch, a fine line difference. In patch, what you can do is, you can, let's suppose for each joke, what I have an ID, right? I have an author, I have the content, the joke itself, and I have a source. Okay. Suppose what I do is, the for the first one, I'm saying that my ID is 1, right? I have suppose created a joke with joke ID 1, and author name is Shivam. Now I have posted a joke, that joke, well and good, that joke is in my database, everything fine, right? But what if I want to change my name from Shivam, that author name, from Shivam to Shivam Jha? So for that, I need to make a put or a patch request. Now, if I'm making a put request, so put request, what it will do is, I need to give it a whole data again, right? I need to give the whole data again, and it will basically, what it will do is, for ID number 1, it will remove the pre-existing data, and it will put the new data right there. So it's called put, right? Putting the new data in place of the older one. But with patch will match my it will it will relate the existing ID and the ID which I am asking for in my request, that I need to change joke of this ID, right? Suppose I'm asking I'm making my request like this: go to joke number 1, right? Go to joke ID 1 and just change the author name there from Shivam to Shivam Jha. So I just have to provide that author name. I don't have to provide again the whole right. I mean the joke content and the joke source. No, not required. So that's put and patch difference. Here we'll be seeing put. So what they asked for to us to do for put is to update an existing joke. This should be your path, base URL slash joke, and in that, put updates the entire objects, right? So you need to give this again, this your body you need to specify, and with the body, let's just copy it. Yeah, and with the body, you need to change the ID to the ID you used earlier in the post request. This is the important thing right here, okay? This is an important thing, that we need to, ID should be same, because what's happening is, behind the scene, what's happening is, it's matching all the IDs. The ID which we have given in the request and the ID of the jokes in the databases, they are being matched, and whatever ID is matching, so just for that ID, the jokes content is getting modified. So you need to put that ID back. So as all of you have seen, I have used that ID number 8 in my joke. So what I'll do is, I'll go here in this request and change it from get to put now, because what I'm doing, I'm putting. The path will be same as they have described in the documentation. For body, I'll go to JSON, right? And this is the same body, this is ID number that I've used. But instead of author name as Shivam, I will give it as Shivam Jha. And in case I don't give this joke and source, so what will happen is, because my request is put, so in my database, this joke and source will not be visible, because for my new request that I'm sending, it doesn't have joke and source. And what I told you, what put does is basically puts whatever you have sent it. So this joke and source need to be same, just the author name is to be changed, and the request type, and send. Let's see. Good. 204, no content. 204 is a request code for updated. So resource updated in your database. Now if we go again here and click on refresh, okay, as you can see, the author name has been changed from Shivam to Shivam Jha. Great. Okay. Anyone else want to try? Give it a try, please. I'm waiting again. Just give it a try, quick. Okay, so Anshu again. Anshu has updated this from Anshu to Anshu Mishra. Yeah, good work, great. Okay, so anyone else up for it? Come on. Okay, I'm not seeing anyone else here. Okay, Anshu, I guess you changed the. Yeah, she has changed the content also. Yeah, because see, whatever, again, what we did was that put doesn't just update something, it updates everything. Put updates everything, whatever you give it to it, it simply puts there. Analogy, yeah, good analogy. Put means simply put whatever you are receiving, you simply put it in a database. That's called put. Okay. Get means get it from the database. Okay. I'm asking for a resource. Go and go API, fetch that resource from the database, get it for me, and show it to me. That's called get. Post. Okay. So API, you work as a postman, right? I guess a postman. That's a good coincidence, right? So API, you work as a postman. I will give you this letter. Go and post it to the database. That's called post. Third thing was put. API, here is our data. Go and put it in the database in place of some data else, right? Update the data with put. And fourth one, the last one will be delete. Okay. So delete is to delete a joke. So what's the method of deleting a joke that they have asked us to do is you need to give the base URL /joke/joke ID. Whatever ID joke that we're trying to delete, we need to give that ID also along with base URL and joke. Okay. So we will quickly go to our request here, right? We'll change the method from put to delete. And suppose I have my joke ID as 8. So I'll give /joke/8. Okay. And no need for body here because it doesn't require any body. So here body I'll give none because this joke doesn't have a body, right? And I'll click send. Joke with ID 8 is deleted. 200. Okay. Now if you go here, refresh it. Yep. My joke is gone. And so has the other joke. Anshu's joke has also. So, okay. So yeah, this was basically the CRUD operations that we were talking about. What we saw, get, post, put, and delete. And as you can see, we have a whole lot of other good the methods here, like patch. We have copy, head, options, link, unlink, lock. These are, I mean, advanced things, but I mean, yeah, this is fun to play with, right? This is fun to play with. Postman interface is basically fun to play with. You can define APIs also, whole full scale APIs. I mean, in our next session, day after tomorrow, we'll be watching that also. How can you define an API schema? Let's suppose this right here is my API schema. So once you define the API schema, this API schema is one fine picture of truth, right? The moment of truth, as you say, that's the moment of truth behind your server, whole server logic, this API schema. So there is nothing more than this API schema. There's nothing less than that. There's exactly one API schema defined for a particular API. And from this API schema, you can generate a collection here. It will generate you a collection of the requests, right? And you can also create mock server. I mean, these are awesome things which we'll be seeing in our session day after tomorrow. But for now, this basics of API was the way to go to increase, to get the folks out here to be familiar with what API development is, and right, and how API makes our life easier, and just the basic idea of the request method and how cool working with Postman in particular is. Okay, now back to our PPT from where we left off. Okay, let's go. So back to our PPT, we are now we have had an awesome follow along session, right? You got to learn much, and I also always I can do it n number of times endlessly, but I won't still be bored from this Postman, the way Postman makes dealing with APIs, and these the way these APIs are help us in modularizing our code and dealing with the servers. I'm very good. I have a very good appreciation for it, to be specific. Now, recap of the session. So what we learned was we learned about methods, right? We learned about addresses, we learned about parameters, authorization, and body data. So these are all the things that we learned, right? Now continue your learning API as student expert. So student Postman also has a student expert program where what you can do is you can as a student expert certification, it's basically a guided lab kind of thing. They have all the documentation there to guide you through all the cool features of Postman. It's just a bit interesting. It also gives you the ability to write your test scripts to check your collections, right? And with that you can send more sophisticated requests in Postman, right? You can edit your documentation for the collection. You can write test scripts also. You can run collection passing data between requests, right? And it will help you achieve a credential that can be put up on your social media handles, that yes, I have done this student expert certification, and I'm very frank. I'm very frank in using Postman for the API stuff, because truth be told, Postman is a technology, right? It's a technology that will be a market leader in terms of software, as long as software engineering thrives, right? And we all know that software engineering, development, is the future of humankind. Okay. Now it will also help you an opportunity to become student leader in your community. You can conduct sessions as the session which I am conducting. You can conduct similar sessions and increase this API literacy among your folks. Okay. So this is the Postman Student Expert application form that we have here. Just a second. Okay, let me copy it. Postman Student Expert Certification Program, and where to paste it? Where to paste it? Just a second. I'll. Yep, I'll paste it here in our chat here, which is going on live. Okay, there you go. That we have here. Okay, so you guys can go to this Postman Student Expert Certification Program and register your one, and then okay, so it's time for some amazing swags, some amazing things that you'll be achieving for being stuck here with me till the end of this session and learning a lot from this session, I hope. So our first challenge is you are given a link to create your own public workspace, just the public workspace which we created right now. Okay, the same public workspace you need to create just by forking this whatever this workspace which we shared with you in the chat a few minutes ago. You need to fork that, and that will be your public workspace now. And what you need to do is you need to create your own public workspace with any collection using any API of your choice. That API can be of any kind. Like a few slides ago we heard that there are cat APIs, right? There are books APIs, and again there are open weather map APIs. So you can those use those APIs which are out there in the market, right? And as well, see, like for this session, suppose I have used a joke API. So there are also quotes and books API, as you have seen there in the documentation. So you can use your quotes and books API and implement these operations, this get, post, put, delete, patch, and experiment with any other operations that you may, right? And on this Postman workspace, and then send it to us, right? Now sending how to send it, you can do two things actually. The first will be a form link which will be shared to you, right? Within 24 hours of this session, by tomorrow evening before 7, you'll be sent the form link, right? The form link to give your public workspace to show us your work. You'll be The form link will be shared with you in the HackSlash Discord servers. Stay tuned there. HackSlash Discord server is an awesome place and a lively place for all the developers, student developers here. And the second thing, what you can do is you can also paste your learnings from this session on your social media handles, be it LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever, wherever. You can paste this, and you can tag me, right? You can tag Postman Student, Postman API, and you can tag HackSlash, so that all of us, we can together track you, right? We can track the winners. We can track the people who have shared their experience learnings, and along with the learning you also need to share your workspace link, right? Public workspace link, so that we may be able to track your work, right? To track your learning by having a view into your workspace link, right? And how will you let us know that you have posted it? Just in your post, you tag Postman Student, right? Postman API, and HackSlash, and me, Shivam Jha. And yeah, that will be our way to go. And you'll lucky winners will obviously get awesome swags, and that's something interesting and exciting and rewarding, obviously rewarding for the people who have been here in this session and learned a lot from it today. Now you can also share your learnings with Postman students, and these are some resources. These resources and the feedback form link, which is to be followed. Feedback form link, the resources, right? And the form for submitting a public workspaces will be shared to you in the HackSlash Discord server. Okay, so HackSlash, go onto the HackSlash website. If I may ask Rachit or Paritosh sir to please drop the our HackSlash website, right? Our link to a HackSlash Discord server in the chat section, so that people may as well join that awesome community. Okay, so yeah, and these resources, and yeah, also for a workspaces, you can not just be dependent upon the form, right? You can also submit your workspace link along with a brief overview of what you learned in the session in the social media. Tag me again, tag me, tag Postman API, Postman student, right, and tag HackSlash, so that we may be able to track you and view your workspace. So that workspace link is also mandatory in the post. Now coming on to the Q&A session. Okay, so I'm having my phone here, and I've opened the chat section so that yeah, you may pop up with your questions and I'll answer it here. Come on, let's go. If not questions, then at least we can discuss about what further improvements can be there in this session like we've taken today, right? Or what learnings you have got. Feel free to share. Yeah, links will also be appended in the YouTube, this description of the YouTube video after the live stream ends. And as well, we'll be sharing the Discord server of HackSlash very soon, so that you can join the Discord HackSlash Discord at once, and we'll get all the form link, feedback form link, and the resources that we have discussed today, and slides. Yeah, you can get the slides also. I mean, we are very lenient with that. So awesome. Which link we have to share? Okay, see, yeah, the workspace link. So this right here, go on the workspace, and just this is your workspace link, I suppose. Yeah, this right here should do it. Yep, this right here should do it. That's it. That's basically it. Your workspace, go to your workspace, right, and share as this link. Because see, this as this workspace is public, if I copy it, let's see, if I copy this workspace and I go to another of my profiles and I paste it here, what it should open. Okay, okay. So this is not. Wait. Mm, how do I share my? Okay, invite. Okay, nope. This won't be. Okay, let's go to my workspace. If I go to my workspace, I would should be able to. Okay, if I copy this and let's see. Yep, again this is forbidden. Okay, I'll get to you with this detail of how to share your workspace. I mean, as far as I can see here, there is just there's just an overview and it's getting forbidden. But it's okay. I'll again those details, everything, small or big, everything which is to be shared with you will be shared with you on the Discord server of HackSlash. So no issues, right? And yeah, we have this Discord HackSlash server invite link also shared. Uh, okay, ask to open something. Right. Well, the thing is, the session that we took today was supposed to be wrapped up. I mean, as described in the, I mean, the time limit. But yeah, I could do it. I could do it a bit slower. And in case you are not able to follow up, we still have time. We still have time. In case you are not able to follow up, please tell me the part where you lost me. I'll be more than happy enough to guide you because we have time. Obviously, it's just 7:59. We still have time, and I'll be able to guide you in case wherever you lost me. Please comment. Because see, this is what it's about, right? It's about learning. And if you are facing any difficulty, if you are not able to learn, then that defeats the purpose of any such workshop session. So if this is a follow along session, right, if you guys are here to learn, then it's my responsibility, it's our responsibility, in fact, as the whole team, to help you get something substantial out of this session. Okay, thank you so much, and please, do tell me if you have, do tell me where you lost me. In case you have any doubt, we are here with a Q&A session, right? Please feel free to ask. Please feel free to ask in the comment section. I have my phone right here, so I've opened the comment section and I'm waiting for your feedbacks, comments, doubts, everything. Come on. By the way, this documentation, you got this. Just fork the workspace, right? I'll show you again how to fork the workspace in the meanwhile. Go here, right, and click on this link. I'll share this PPT also. Click on this link. Okay, it will redirect you to this thing here. So here you need to click on basics of API. There are many, but you'll click on basics of API. Okay, and this is the button right here, fork button. Fork means creating a local copy. So when you fork it, it will ask you to give a name. You can give any random name and the location. So this is your location, which in which location that will be forked into. By default, you guys who are making a new account will have this one, my workspace. Okay, so this will create a fork like this, right? Fork will be created like this. And when you click on the basics of API, don't click on this get data, then you will not be able to see the documentation. Sorry, because there's no documentation available here. Click on basics of API and then click on documentation. You have a whole lot of good documentation here, right? Not just about the joke one, also about quote and book. Okay, see, this one is for the code path, right? And this one is for the book path. Okay, so in fact I encourage you people that if you are as a part of our challenge that we have given you, right, to make a new workspace of your, and make a new request section here, right? What you can do is, see, suppose what I did is I just showed you all the 4 requests in one. What you can do is, suppose this request are you are only keeping for get, right? Suppose this request is only kept for get. What you can do is, this request is used for get, you can create one new request. Okay, so it will go to this 3 button here, in your workspace, this collection. Go to the 3 button here and click on add request. Now the request will be add request. Let's see, the request name will be post data. If I say post data, and what I'll do is I'll change the request method to post. Now this is a post request. Okay, similarly you can create one more request, add request. Now this request will be named as, let's say, put data, and then I'll use the method put here in this one. And similarly, you can create 4 requests like such. Let me just quickly create one more. So that would be delete, I suppose. Yep, delete data, and then the method would be delete. Good. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Thank you. You got your answer right. So that's the reason. That's the reason why workshop sessions are important, because the main thing why we are here is to learn, right? To learn. Okay, so you can make such 4 requests, and suppose I give you a walkthrough of the that jokes one. Similarly, you can experiment with this book one or quote one that we have, and then share your workspace link. How to share the workspace link again? That instruction also I'll be sending on in your Discord, HackSlash Discord server, right? So having no Q&A, thanks for coming. And yeah, for the feedback form is really important for us. Like right now, just we got a feedback that we should be slow while this I mean hands-on thing. So obviously many people might have an internet lag at their home houses, so it may be a problem for them if I'm going way too fast. So that kind of feedback helps us grow, right? As a community, that kind of feedback helps us grow. So feedback is all the more important, and that's why we'll be sharing a feedback form also with you tomorrow, right? Tomorrow before 7 p.m. So feedback form, resources for the session, and your social media challenge form, right? All these 3 will be shared to you. And yeah, that Postman Student Expert Certification Program form, that also will be shared with you. And in the meanwhile, thank you all for joining. Thanks for coming to this session. Thanks for being there with me up till the end. Thanks for learning. Thanks for being an awesome audience, right? Yeah, and thank you so much, HackSlash, for giving me this opportunity, this stage, to talk, to interact with such a wonderful audience about this API technology, and let them know, right, how to make the first move, where to start from, right? So I hope you all enjoyed the session, and yes, stay tuned with us. Again, as a member of the HackSlash Club also, I would like to invite you for our session next day, right? Our next day session is roadmap to master DSA from Kirti Gera, and she's a content a teacher. She's a mentor from Geeks for Geeks, and she'll have an awesome session for to clear all of your doubts on data structures, algorithms, how to start, where to do, what to do, everything that literally might pop up in your mind. Okay, so with that sweet note, I'll ask your leave now. Thank you, Rachit. for being such a wonderful co-host, and yeah, and helping me throughout this session. And thank you all for joining. Stay tuned for the next workshop sessions that we have in order, and bye bye.